Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for Final Girl, the solo horror board game. So this is the Haunting of Creech Manor, part of Series 1. So in here we're going to have starring the Poltergeist and featuring Creech Manor. So on one side of the box, that's really neat about these games, is we have the Poltergeist side. So each side we have a killer side. And then if we flip it over, we have the location sides. You can go ahead and mix and match them with any other set from the series. Just as a reminder, though, these are all expansions. You do need the core set, which comes separately, to be able to play any of these. But once you have the core set, you can, again, mix and match any killer with any different location. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. What's also really fun about this series is each game will add new and different mechanics to the game. So on the Poltergeist side, we'll start with our killer. I've already taken the cards out. But yeah, the top half here pops out. We gotta look at what the Poltergeist does. So we have her minor dark powers at top. She has 3 horror, which she starts at. The Poltergeist has no health and cannot be attacked. So that's definitely something different. We have a spot for her finale or dark powers. And then she has some minor, her different leveling up in here. As she takes horror and bloodlust, she gets more stuff. Now, compared to some of the other killers, she might have more or less movement or more or less damage. Just kind of depends. So that's our board there. Let's look at some of our components here really quick. We got a quick thing is we have our list of all our stuff and some special rules, which we'll definitely look at. We have our set of Dark Power and Finale cards for her. Gives us some different stuff. We have the main Terror deck, which will have the symbol in the bottom for Poltergeist, since it gets mixed in with the location decks. We have our 2 Final Girls. We have some special item cards, which we'll look at in just a moment. Then we flip over to Creech Manor. We'll have Creech Manor's side. We'll have our setup cards, our event cards, our item deck for that side, and they'll be listed with the different symbols on the bottom for each side for like the items, because they could be mixed with the other ones. We have their small terror deck, and we have some tokens. And then, of course, we have on the other side of the box, you can flip that off, and we would have our Creech Manor location, which we'll look at this a little bit more in just a minute. Then the last thing we have, which we'll look at the very end of the video, is we have our 2 secret envelopes, which are special things that do not open until you survive a game with each one of the Final Girls. And that's an extra bonus card to be used for that character. But we'll look at those at the end for people that don't want spoilers. Alright, so what do we have in here? We have, in the Final Girl experience called The Haunting of Creech Manor, it's up to you to save a little girl named Carlyon who has become the target of a malevolent spirit. Choose either of the included Final Girls, Selena or Alice, and try to avoid becoming the next victim of the Poltergeist of Creech Manor. Search for terrifying and terrifying rooms like the attic or the closet. Once you found her, escape to the manor your lives before it's too late. Carolyon's life is not to mention your own, is in your hands, but will you both survive? And a reminder, you need the core set. Alright, so we have the Poltergeist. What does she do? So a extra blurb there about them. How do you fight a Poltergeist? Let me ask you something. How does one fight something one cannot see? It's simple. You don't. You get the hell out of there and don't look back. Don't turn back and don't do anything but run. If you do, it will ruin you. Mentally, physically, and emotionally. And then it will kill you. That's kind of scary and funny. So we have some special setups in here. Let's see if I can set this up on my handy dandy thing here so we don't have to hold it on my shaky hands. Game sets up as normal. The following changes to the item deck. The Carolyn and Mr. Floppy item cards will always be included in the game, but neither will start the game face up an item. Create an item deck as follows using your own method as long as you ensure the previous statements is true. Take 10 of the chosen location item cards instead of the normal 12, shuffle them, then return them unused to the deck. Set aside the item card for each deck that will be needed. Take the remaining cards Shuffling down and put Carolyn and Mr. Floppy in the item cards. Deal face down cards in equal piles and put them in a slot above the board. Take the item card you set aside and place one on the face top. So what's basically meaning is you're gonna, instead of having your 12 cards, you'll take 10, shuffle these 2 cards, or then shuffle the 10 up, then take 3 out, 1 for each deck, or if you have 2 locations or 4 locations, because they could change. Take how many you need for to be face up, set those aside, shuffle these guys in the rest, deal them out, then put your face cards up, so they'll never end up starting face up. And special rule is the Poltergeist has no health and cannot be attacked, damaged, or killed, nor any effect that would damage the Poltergeist. So this is kind of neat. That's going to make some of the Final Girls more or less effective, because there are some that do better damage. A guy that doesn't do damage doesn't help at all. Action cards that put damage may still be used against some of the Poltergeist terror cards. So yeah, they're not going to be useless. It's not going to be as effective. Since the Poltergeist cannot be attacked, you do not win against her in the normal way. Instead, the only way to win against the Poltergeist is to find Carolyn and save her by reaching one of the exits while she's with you. The issue is if the forgetting something epic dark power card is revealed, in addition to finding Carolyn, you also have to find her stuffed friend, Mr. Floppy. Carolyn may never be discarded or removed from the game by any effects. She can be ignored, however, she may get shuffled back in the item deck, which is perfectly normal. And Mr. Floppy has an effect that is ever discarded. It cannot be used until the dark power is revealed. Mr. Floppy can never be discarded due to game effects or the forgetting something is in play. So cool. So why don't we look at those 2 cards right away? Let's see what... let's look at our Final Girls. Let's look at them right away. We have Alice to start with. And pop this down a little bit farther. So we have Alice, who has 4 health. So every time she saves a victim, she can either gain 2 time, a health, take a 2 cost or less action card, move up to 2 spaces, or move 1 space. So all very helpful things for if you're trying to get around. If we flip her over, she has her ultimate ability is choose 1 named action card for the remainder of the game. Whenever you play that named action card, always roll exactly 5 dice regardless of horror or any other modifiers. For each additional victim save, recover 1 health. So this could be very neat depending on what area or who you're fighting or what you're doing. So again, this one, the idea of where we need to be able to, first of all, be able to search probably locations to look for items. If you're getting down to the end and you finally get this ability and you haven't found Carolyn yet, you may not do this. You can search and guarantee a search every time. If you've already found Carolyn, you might instead put it on your walk or maybe your sprint, so that way you can move across the board a lot quicker. But it could be, again, it could be helpful in other things, or maybe you can always do extra damage or gain life back quicker. So yeah, it's a really neat ability. Then we have Selena, who has 6 health. She only has 4 victims to save. Either she gets 2 time, move 1 space, take a search action card, or reduce the horror by 2. Her ultimate ability, though, is when resolving a search action, roll 2 additional dice. So this is, again, she's going to be kind of focused on this searching ability. I just noticed this. So on the front side, their picture's all nice and clean. But on the back side, they're all like bloodied up and bruised. That's kind of cool. A little extra effect there. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. There's a little bit different ability there. Then let's look at our 2 item cards. First of all, we had Carolyn. But Mr. Floppy said to hide. When Carolyn joins you, remove all minor dark power cards from the game. You must escape with Carolyn to win the game. Carolyn may not be killed, discarded for any reason, and you cannot place her in your backpack. So she is going to take up one of your hand slots, though, so there's something to keep in mind. And then we have Mr. Floppy. That looks like Carolyn's elf. The dark power has been revealed. You may remove this from the game to ignore the effects of Carolyn. Where are you? If this is discarded for any reason, shuffle it into the nearest item deck. Interesting. So we'll probably have other cards that might affect those as well. Let's look at our killer's powers, the Poltergeist. So on our top is we have her finale cards. So while they're there every turn, she's going to get to pick one of the 2, Final Girl or victim, move towards them, and attack, which is pretty standard for most of the guys. Then when she flips these over, she gets her finale ability. She has Relentless Assault. Place the Poltergeist in your space. Target one of them and do a double attack. Oh boy. Nothing is easy. Place Poltergeist in space. Target either one and then attack. All 0 action cards now cost 1. You can even see it's kind of neat. So you see Serena on here, kind of showing like, oh, that's neat. Like, I love they include the final girl in the artwork too. Draw a tarot card. If you're unable to, immediately lose the game. Oh, she will soon be lost. Add 3 tarot cards to the tarot deck when this is. So you at least have potentially 2 extra turns. That is nasty. Alright, then we have the bottom half, which are the Dark Power cards, which will get unlocked for her after 3 things. She's going to get these fairly quickly. We have Invisible Barrier. You may not enter a exit with Carolyn unless you have full health. Ooh. Interesting. Like, you know, we have some of the other girls in here as well. Stiff Winged. All of your move of 2 or more spaces are reduced by 1. The Eternal Despair. Whenever you resolve a horror roll, lose time for every 1 showing on the dice after results. Nice. And then the epic one, if you want to make it a little bit more challenge, Forgetting Something. You may not win the game unless you reach an exit with Carolyn and Mr. Floppy item card. So this does make it harder because you have to go find that card, but at least it doesn't add an additional difficulty effect. Cool. And then we have the Terror deck. So we're going to get 2 copies of Everything Was Flying Around. Increase horror. Place the Poltergeist with the closest victim or in your space if there are no victims. Choose one of the 2 and then attack. Unstoppable Evil. Roll a die. You take damage equal to your roll. You may defend. Or kill that many victims. You choose which victim. If there are no other victims, you must choose to take the damage. So having the defense card would definitely be helpful for something like that. 2 copies of The Shadows Are Closing In. There are no victims on the board. Discard, draw next tarot card. 2 horror. Target victim, move, and then attack. 2 copies of The Ground Is Shaking. Place a Poltergeist in a space. Attack. If you take any damage, all of your moves during the next action phase are panicked. Oh. So this means your moves are panicked. So that means when you go to move, you can only move in those certain locations. That's crazy. We had, did that clown just move? A clown doll appears. You may play an action that inflicts damage to it if you wish. Then, if the clown doll is still alive, you take damage equal to the killer's attack value. You may defend as normal. If you take damage, Bloodlust goes up, and then the clown doll disappears. This is where you want to keep your attacks. You could definitely jump in and do that. We also have Corporeal Form. A behemoth appears. You may play an action that inflict damage if you wish. Then, if the behemoth is still alive, you take damage equal to the killer's attack value plus 1. You may defend as normal. You take damage, discard an item card, and then he disappears. 2 copies of Carolyn, where are you? If Carolyn is not with you, discard and draw next tarot card. Otherwise, shuffle Carolyn into the item deck of the nearest item spot. Do not reveal the top card of the deck. That would suck. Nothing is at scene. If Carolyn is with you, discard and draw the next tarot card. Otherwise, shuffle each item deck, reveal the top card. If Carolyn or Mr. Floppy are revealed, then double Bloodlust. I have to kill you. It told me to kill you. If there are no victims on the board, draw another tarot card. Otherwise, all victims in spaces adjacent to you move to your space. If there are any victims in your space, you may play 1 action that inflicts damage. Kill 1 victim for each damage. Do not increase Bloodlust. And then take damage for each victim in your space until they all panic. Crazy. Then we have Where the Hell Did This Storm Come From? Lightning strikes a space, and each space adjacent to you. One victim in each space is killed, and you lose health equal to the Poltergeist's current attack. Just throws lightning at you. That's nuts. There's some minor dark power. Psychic confusion. If Carlyon is with you, discard and draw the next terror card. Roll -1 horror die when resolving a search card. Prior to playing a search card, you may spend 3 times to ignore this penalty. Interesting, because again, like the other ones, they give them health. He doesn't have health, that doesn't matter. And then if you find Carolyn, it gets rid of them, of course. And then Unseen Forces. If Carolyn is with you, discard draw next terror card. Your first base move each action phase is Panic. That's cool. I like the panic effect. That's being forced upon you as a player. That is neat. Yeah, so the Poltergeist has some interesting abilities. Kind of like throwing stuff at you. That's kind of cool. Alright, then let's look at the location side. We have Creech Manor. I'm going to back the camera back up a bit. So Creech Manor has a couple of things. First of all, we have the garage, the attic, the closet, and the setup. So this is one that I also find neat about the game is that sometimes you're playing in a town, sometimes you're playing in like the campgrounds. This one you're playing just in a house. It's neat you have different locations of different sizes. A lot of the stuff here is kind of connected. So like the attic's by itself, we have the top row that's all connected. But there's only 2 ways down there. We have this row, like left to right, they're always connected, but there's sometimes only 1 way or 2 ways up. All the exit spaces are on the bottom. So if you're at the top, you have to cross the entire board to get all the way down. Since you have to look for Carolyn, she might be up in the closet or the attic. You could get super lucky. Boom, 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 find her here, boom, 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 out. Win the game, right? You might get that lucky. Probably not, though. Because even if you do, you still have to watch out for the killer blocking your way. Now, there are some special rules in here. Creech Manor is over 100 years old and the kind of character and historic charm that people love. It is the kind of home where every step, every new room can call one's imagination. A story from the past, but stories of Creech Manor filled with horrifying events, macabre happenings, and supernatural powers beyond human understanding. Go away, for evil reigns within. Alright, we have some special rules here. We'll drop this back down. And we'll kind of zoom back in a little bit, make it a little bit easier to see. One-way movement spaces, so they have the arrows like that. These spaces have exits in one direction. There are 3 of them. These spaces have white arrow lines indicating which direction you can move. Spaces are still considered to be adjacent in both directions. You're not allowed to move against an arrow. You can't climb up the terrace wing and go back in the window, nor can you go through the hole in the ceiling of the washroom on the left side of the board. Enemy victims are also subject to these rules. Rope ladder is used, the only exception. So we have, if you're coming from here into the washroom, you can drop down, but you can't climb back up. So you have to go back over to these stairs to go back up. Same thing, we have 2 windows here. You can jump out to this rope ladder and climb down, but you're not strong enough to climb back up. So yeah, you grab some victims, you escape, now you have to run back to the door and go back up. Then we have window spaces. Windows are a new type of space in Creech Manor location. There are 2 window spaces on the right side of the house and 1 on the left. Window spaces do not have any special rules, but terror and event cards will specifically reference them. The ladder. Cards refer to the ladder, specifically referring to the ladder on the outside of the building. Connects the left exit space in the washroom on the 3rd floor. The ladder leading to the attic is artistic in nature and only never impacted any gameplay events. And then inside and outside. All spaces are going to be inside except for the 3 exit spaces which are outside. So, yeah, here's our outside areas. There's the ladder. It's just saying this ladder here doesn't actually have any effect in the game. It's not a token or anything like that. Just so if it mentions the ladder, it's just talking about that space right there. But yeah, like even the different color rooms really help. So you know which ones have the windows, have little symbols. Make the iconography in this game is really good. Alright. let's look at a couple of things. We have our setup cards. We'll jump through those really quickly. I always love the setup cards just because they have sometimes references to other things in there. So we have the creep show. You're at the beginning of the door. Everyone else is kind of scattered around. People hiding up in the attic. The ladder. That's where you came in. Everyone else is getting kind of all around. The dancing queen. So there's kind of like a possessed spirit. So like maybe we're in like a haunted music, like haunted like my brain keeps saying play, but not play, but like because there's a ballroom, which is where your character starts down here in the corner. So maybe it's like you were at like a fancy gala or event. Strange trophies, which starts your character in the trophy room. And the Dead Zone starts you in the attic. Of course, Dead Zone being the name of an old horror show. Alright, then let's look at our events. See what kind of fun things are happening in this area. Lights out. Who turned the lights out? What was that? Roll 1 fear or die to a minimum of 1 when resolving an action card that allows movement. Ignore this effect if you have a flashlight or a candle. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. It's coming from up there. Let's go check it out. Definitely Ghostbusters quote. Move each victim 1 space towards the attic. Discard this card. Clingy victims. Don't leave me. You must have at least 1 victim follow you if able. Pushed to the edge. They looked at me somberly. Then, without speaking, walked over to the window and jumped. Roll a die for each victim in a window. If the roll is a 1 to 4, that victim jumps and is killed. This is interesting because windows are quicker ways to escape versus having to go all the way through the house and go down through the front door. But if you're sitting on a window space and you haven't yet moved out of there, you have to worry about stuff like this happening. Curiosity killed the people. We heard this place is haunted. Place 3 new victims in the foyer and panicked them immediately. Why did you come if you heard it was haunted? Frozen in fear. The only thing I could move was my eyeballs. It was terrifying. Victims no longer panic during the panic phase. Ooh, interesting. Liquid courage. What's you talking about? There's a ghost? Show me something. Victims will follow you into the killer space. Oh, good. They're drunk, so they'll blindly follow you. No one comes back. This is just the skull token. So we have all our tokens, the symbols on the back, just so they don't get mixed up with other sets. Place this, what goes up, don't come down. Place the skull token in the attic. All victims in the attic are killed. Whenever a victim enters the attic, they're immediately killed. Wow. And that's one of your item spots as well, so that's crazy. We have the helicopter. Of course, we get the helicopter token. If you get the miniatures pack, they do have the helicopter miniature. We're saved. Place a helicopter token on the roof of the house. Once during the game, you may move from the attic to the helicopter. As a layer, Jason, any victims or Carolyn with you may be saved. Unless you have Carolyn, you must return to the attic. Unless you have saved Carolyn, you must return to the attic and the token must be removed. The helicopter is not considered an exit space. Discard this from the helicopter token leaves play. Cool. So you can take everyone up there, but it's going to leave once and then go. Cool. That's kind of funny just because the previous card then shut off the attic. That'd be hilarious to like have the helicopter. Like, oh, sweet, it's up there. Then, like, you get another event card drawn, and it poisons the attic so you can't get out. That'd be funny. Then we have Ghost Hunters. This is neat. So, the 3 colored meeples. The EMF. I'm not even sure what that would stand for. Our readings... Oh, the EMF readings are off the charts. Jackpot. Replace the 3 victims closest to you or as many as able with special victim meeples. These victims will not follow you until the last one of them has been killed. Each time one of these victims is killed, plus 1 bloodlust. Interesting. So you have guys and they're just going to do whatever they want until the game is over. That's pretty nuts. Alright, let's look at our item cards. We have some mysterious pills. They might make me hallucinate, but what hallucination could be worse than this? Discard in the action phase to choose one of the following. -1 horror or gain 2 health. The old revolver. Old house, old gun, of course. 1 range and damage. The old revolver may only modify the weak action card. The knife. Could come in handy as long as it bleeds. Yeah, you can't really stab the ghost, so. First aid kit. I've got to dress these wounds if I want to survive. Every time you use an action card, recover an additional health. The trash can lid. Maybe it'll protect me if the smell doesn't kill me first. So there's 3 use tokens. Each time will help you ignore a damage. Energy drink. Manufactured energy? Sure, what the hell. Discard this during the action phase and choose one of the following. +3 time or move 1 space. Lucky rabbit split. How does this thing work? Discard during the horror phase or action phase to make a horror roll. For each success, choose one of the following. +2 times heal, -horror, or 1 health, or move 1 space. The lucky dice. I'd rather be lucky than good. Discard to roll any or all your dice. The map looks like some sort of instructions for the moving company. Discard during the action phase, and then for each of the item deck, do one of the following. If the top card is face down, you may turn it face up. If the top card is face up, you may discard from the game and turn up the next face up card. Kind of neat, but it does wish it was a different picture, like instead of map, called like blueprint, like the house or something. That would have been neat. The flashlight. Let's hope these batteries last. Once per action phase, for minus time, you may look at the top card of the tarot deck, leave it, or place it at the bottom of the deck. That's super helpful. The ancient text. Are there any answers inside? You may lose health to gain 2 time. The crucifix. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed by thy name. Discard to ignore effects of a single terror card. Oh, I like that one. The candle. Just call me Ebenezer Scrooge. Once per activation, you may move a victim from an adjacent space to your space. The shotgun. Yes, now this is a gun. 0 range, but damage with an asterisk. The shotgun cannot modify an action card and must be used without one. Once per turn, you may discard 2 cards from your hand to roll 6 dice. Deal damage to each enemy in your space for each star rolled. If at least half of the dice are blank, discard your shotgun. Excuse me. A list of things in the question is, will any of it help me? Immediately roll a die. In the garage, closet, or attic. Reveal all items, cards associated with the item, keeping their order the same, then discard this card. Oh, neat. Just so you know where they are. This is probably helpful if you're trying to find Carlyon, definitely. The rope ladders, we could get a token for that. Might be our only way out of here. Discard this card. Remove the broken ladder. Or to place the rope ladder token in a room with a one-way movement arrow. Movement is now 2 ways to and from this space. Cool. So you can make a room go double ways. Neat. Padlock. To keep something in or out. We have a padlock item. Place a padlock token between any 2 rooms. Only you and the victim you're moving with you may move through the padlock. If an enemy attacks while a room is adjacent to the padlock, ignore the attack and remove the padlock instead. And then our final item card is a ritual dagger. I can almost feel the evil inside. You may discard your ritual dagger to kill a victim in your space. Increase bloodlust as normal. If you do, remove the minor guard power cards from play or deal damage to the killer. Cool. Just a neat way to get rid of minor power cards, which some guys could be really painful. Alright, then we got a couple of terror cards to go through. Alright, our terror cards. We have The windows and doors just slam shut. If you're inside, you may not move during the next action phase. If you're outside, you may not enter the house during the next action phase. Choose another event. Something is coming through the walls. If there are no victims on the board, draw a terror card. All victims panic. Any victims that exited through a window are now killed. And then draw an event. I like this extra event stuff. The trees are alive. If you are in a window space, then lose health. If all victims in a window are killed. At least one victim was killed. Horror. And then draw an event. Again, like being by the windows might not be the best way to go. Voices. I hear voices. If there are no victims, draw a terror card. All victims able to move to the next floor do so. Gain a horror and then target any victim, move and attack. It's coming. Target the final girl for 3 movement. Kill 1 victim in each space the killer passes through, including its current and final space. Oh, so it could kill up to 4 people. It's broken. Place a broken ladder token covering the ladder on the board. The ladder may no longer be used, and the spaces connected to them are no longer considered to be adjacent. So you get the broken ladder. So you get the rope ladder item card. You can replace that. Something unholy happened in the... Depending on the die. And the result, place the killer in that room. Add it to closet or ballroom. So you just summon to your item spot. Then they choose 1 attack, choose another one to move, then attack. And then our last one is, it's a fake. Discard a random item. If you have no items, discard and draw the next terror card. Pick one of them, move, and then attack. I say pick one, let's technically select whichever one is closest, but that's what we have. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, the house is very interesting because you have to move around through Creech Manor in different ways to be able to get to areas. The windows are kind of a neat aspect, but since all of the exits are like on the same side of the board, that's definitely something new and different. And then the Poltergeist is very cool very interesting with not being able to take damage. Your whole idea is just to be moving around, so you have to take a different mind frame from playing some of the other characters. Because you just want to try and be running away, but you might have to make sure you deal with some of the other threats that pop up. Alright, so for the last part of the video, we're going to look at the 2 secret envelope cards. So again, these are just the bonuses. They're hidden underneath the bottom of the trays, so if you can't find them. They have special rules for them. It's basically, per rules, is once you beat a mission, survival is 1 game. Doesn't even have to be this one. It could be a different one. With them, then you can reveal them. It gives them their signature weapon, kind of like what they use to defeat their enemy with. And then now they can use that in any other games. And then it works just like how Carlyon and Mr. Floppy did. If you draw the 12 cards instead, you pick 11, shuffle the decks up, then add this as the 12th card. Shuffle them all up. They'll be anywhere in those decks. They could even be the top card, though. So unlike Carolyn, they could be right away. Yeah, and then you can opt to, again, it says you're only supposed to use it if that is your girl for the game. Your game, though, you can play however you want. You can mix and match whoever you want. You can shuffle these in with the entirety of all the cards for the entire item deck. Then shuffle them out, and then they might not even be available. Or, again, you could stack it and at least make sure it's in the game. That's entirely up to you. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open these. So, in case you don't want to see these, spoilers, thanks for watching the video. Hit me up in the comments. Check out my gameplay videos on my other channel. I'll definitely link that. I'm going to start playing some of these games. And, yeah, come back for more. Alright, let's hop in. Let's see what Alice's special item is. So we pop this open. We have Alice's shotgun. So these used to be item cards. They will not have a symbol on them. And then the little rule just explains what I said to do. Yeah, so you just shuffle them up how they tell you to do them. So what's Alice's shotgun do? So she has click, click, boom. Oh, she's a Saliva fan. Shock cannot be modified. Action card must be used without one. Once per turn, you may discard one card from your hand to roll 6 dice. Deal hits to each enemy in your space for each star rolled. If it was half the dice or blank, discarded done. Again, it may only be used by them. So basically what these are, they're really neat because they're just more powerful cards. So like comparing that to the regular shotgun, everything's the same except you have to discard one card instead of 2. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to use. That's definitely cool. Alright, then we have for Selena. Her signature item is her flashlight. And I like this because it's not always a signature weapon, it's her signature item. They say ignorance is bliss, but I'll keep the light. Thank you very much. Once per action phase, you may look at the top card of the tarot deck. Leave it on top or place it at the bottom. You may discard this card while on an item location to take the top item card. So yeah, this works just like the other flashlight, except it's a little bit easier because here you have to pay time. Hers you don't, and then you also have the option to discard it to search for an item. So it lets you help you find something a little bit cooler or a little bit quicker. You just also need if you just combine them with their abilities. So it says while using a search action, she has to roll 2 additional dice. So basically, she wants to search. That'll help her search even more. And this says name an action card, so it doesn't really help with her weapon, but you can definitely use it, and you can't modify an attack. So this one doesn't help her with that at all, unfortunately. Now it can be super synergistic. Alright, that is what we have for this Final Girl video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, check out my gameplay videos on my other channel. If you want to subscribe to that, then you can see when I post new stuff. I don't post down there as often as I do on here, because it takes a little bit longer to do gameplay videos and get them set up and have time and all that stuff. Otherwise, yeah, hit me up in the comments if you'd like to see anything else, like me to review anything. One time, I probably want to go through and maybe compare all the items to see if they're all the same or how they work from game to game. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.